All right, get ready to dive deep, folks, because today we're tackling the Vishnu Purana. We've got some excerpts from an audio lecture that looks like it's going to unpack some really fascinating cosmology and philosophy.
It's definitely a rich text, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's all from this ancient Hindu perspective, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone who's familiar with Hindu scriptures, they'll know that the Vishnu Purana is one of these many Puranas. They're basically these amazing narratives that try to explore the universe, the gods, and humanity's place in all of it.
I think what always blows me away about these ancient texts is that, they're dealing with the same questions we're still asking today, Like, what is reality, really? How did the universe begin? That kind of stuff.
It's timeless.
Totally. And what's cool is that we're using an audio lecture for this deep dive, so.
Oh, interesting.
I know, right? It's like we're sitting on a class or something.
I like that.
Yeah, so one of the things that stands out about the Vishnu Purana, at least compared to a lot of other creation myths, is its focus on cyclical creation and destruction. It's not like a one-time Big Bang kind of deal.
Right, right.
So are we talking more like a universe that's constantly in motion, expanding and contracting, like almost like breathing in and out over these vast, vast periods of time?
You got it. Precisely. And guiding this whole cosmic dance are these three powerful deities, Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver, and Shiva the destroyer.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, right?
Well, it gets even more interesting than that. So we have these three deities. They're distinct, right?
Yeah.
But they're ultimately seen as aspects of one single supreme being, Vishnu. It's like this idea that creation, preservation, and destruction, they aren't separate forces. They're more like different expressions of the same divine energy.
Whoa. Okay, that's a pretty mind-bending concept.
It is.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, like, how does that change how we understand these processes, Like, if destruction is part of the same force as creation, does that make it less scary? Or maybe even more so?
Well, it definitely encourages us to see those forces in a new light, right?
For sure.
It also kind of pushes us to think about time differently, not just as this straight line, but as a cycle. And that has to impact how you see your own place and everything.
Absolutely, yeah. So how does this whole creation process actually unfold? I know the lecture talks about these like building blocks of reality, starting with what it calls a primordial state.
Right. So picture this, a cosmic soup,
Hmm.
just this kind of raw potential.
Okay, so no chicken noodle yet.
Not yet.
Okay, so what are the key ingredients in this cosmic soup then? What's it all made of?
Well, the Vishnu Purana points to these two fundamental principles, Prakriti and Purusha.
Prakriti and Purusha.
Yeah.
Okay, so Prakriti is like the primordial matter, right? The stuff everything's made of.
Right.
And Purusha is what? Like pure consciousness.
Exactly. The awareness that kind of permeates everything.
That's interesting. Those concepts kind of remind me of some of the ideas in modern physics about matter and energy. I mean, are Prakriti and Purusha just like ancient versions of that, or are they something more?
That's a great question. And, there are definitely parallels, but Prakriti and Purusha, they go beyond just the physical stuff. They represent the fundamental duality of existence, the interplay between matter and consciousness, the seen and the unseen. And it's from their interaction that this whole creation process kicks off.
Okay, so how do we get from cosmic soup to, stars and planets and all that?
So the interaction of Prakriti and Purusha, it gives rise to something called Mahat Tattva, which basically means the great principle.
Okay, the great principle. So now we're getting a bit more concrete.
Right, exactly. Things are starting to take shape. Potential is, turning into something real. And then from Mahatattva emerges Ahamkara. You can translate that as ego, or that sense of I.
The ego, huh?
Yeah. It's like the birth of individuality, that feeling of separateness. And from Ahamkara comes the 5 elements.
Ah, the classic elements. Earth, air, fire, water. Wait, there's 5.
Space. Can't forget space. That's the element that provides the container for everything else.
Oh, right, of course, space. Okay, that makes sense.
And it's fascinating? The senses emerge from Ahamkara as well. So the text is linking the elements in our senses to this concept of ego.
So the way we experience the world through our senses, it's shaped by that sense of separation.
Exactly. And here's where the Vishnu Purana throws in another curveball.
Oh, I love curveballs. Hit me.
Tanmotras.
Tanmotras. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I've never heard of those.
So imagine like the pure potential of earthness or fireness before it becomes, actual dirt or flames.
Okay, I think I'm with you.
It's like a blueprint, the underlying vibration that gives rise to the element itself.
So these tanmatras, they're invisible to us, but they're what the whole physical world is built on.
Precisely. And they only become the elements as we experience them when they combine.
This is blowing my mind already. It's like there's this whole level of reality that's hidden from us, but it's the source of everything we can see and touch.
Right.
Okay, I'm ready for the cosmic egg now. Does the lecture get into that?
Oh, it does, front and center.
Lay it on me.
So this is how the Vishnu Purana describes the universe coming into being, as this giant golden egg, emerging from that primordial soup we were talking about.
Okay, so it's like this cosmic seed containing all the possibilities of the universe.
And inside this cosmic egg, Brahma, the creator god, emerges and begins the work of creation. He's the architect, the divine artist shaping everything from within.
I love how these ancient texts use such vivid imagery to describe these really complex concepts.
Me too. So now, where does Vishnu fit into all this?
Yeah, we know he's the preserver, but what does that mean? On a cosmic scale, I mean,
Think of him as the cosmic conductor, ensuring the whole symphony of creation is in harmony, maintaining the balance, the order, the flow of energy throughout the entire universe.
so Brahma creates, Vishnu conducts, and Shiva is bringing the grand finale at some point.
Exactly. We'll get to Shiva's role in all of this a bit later, but for now, let's stick with Vishnu.
Okay, sounds good.
Another interesting aspect of Vishnu is this concept of his avatars.
Oh, the avatars, right. That's like the different forms he takes on throughout time, right? Like Lord Rama and Krishna.
Yes, they appear in different eras to uphold Dharma and guide humanity.
And speaking of Dharma, I know the lecture mentions that's a pretty central concept in the Vishnu Purana, like in other Hindu texts.
Oh, absolutely. Dharma, it's often translated as duty, righteousness, or cosmic order. But really, it's about living ethically, fulfilling your purpose in the universe, and contributing to this, overall harmony of existence.
So it's not just about personal virtue. It's like this cosmic responsibility, making sure your actions are in sync with the big picture.
That's a great way to put it. It connects individual actions to the whole cosmic dance.
Man, this is blowing my mind. We've gone from cosmic soup to a golden egg, met the divine trio, touched on this profound concept of Dharma. I can't wait to dive even deeper.
And there's so much more to explore. We've just laid the groundwork for our journey through the Vishnu Purana.
Buckle up, everybody. It's going to get even more fascinating from here.
All right, we're back and ready for more of the Vishnu Purana. Last time we were talking about the creation of the universe, that crazy cosmic egg, and the whole concept of Dharma. So where do we go from here?
Well, remember how we talked about cyclical time? That whole idea that creation and destruction are part of the same cosmic dance?
Yeah.
Well, that connects to another fascinating concept in the Vishnu Purana, different levels of reality.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. The lecture mentioned something about 14 worlds.
14.
Yeah. That definitely kind of broadens our horizons a bit.
It does. So the Vishnu Purana describes this vast cosmos with all these different realms of existence. You've got 7 higher worlds.
Considered like celestial and spiritual realms.
Gotcha.
And then you've got 7 lower worlds.
So it's like a cosmic ladder, kind of, with these different levels of being, different planes of existence.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. The higher worlds are said to be inhabited by gods and these celestial beings, and they're associated with greater knowledge, purity, and bliss.
Sign me up for a vacation to one of those higher worlds, but I'm guessing this isn't like physical travel, right?
Not in the way we normally think about it, no. These worlds represent states of consciousness, levels of spiritual evolution. It's not about your physical location, but where you are on your spiritual journey.
Ah, I see. So the lower worlds would be like denser states of being, right?
Yeah.
More bound to the material world.
Exactly. The text describes these realms as being subject to suffering, illusion, and the cycle of birth and death. It's a pretty stark contrast to the liberation and enlightenment you find in the higher worlds.
Makes me think about karma and reincarnation. It's like your actions in this life determine which world you're reborn into.
That's a core principle in Hinduism, for sure. And it's woven into the cosmology of the Vishnu Purana. The text really stresses that our choices have consequences. They shape our journey through these different worlds and ultimately determine whether we stay trapped in the cycle of rebirth or achieve liberation.
Okay, so the stakes are pretty high. So tell me more about these higher worlds. What are they actually like?
Well, the lecture doesn't describe every single world in detail, but it does mention that the highest realm is called Satyaloka,
Satyaloka.
and it's described as the abode of Brahma,
Wow.
and it represents pure consciousness, absolute truth.
Pure consciousness, huh? That sounds pretty intense.
It's certainly beyond our normal understanding, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But the idea is there's so much more to existence than what we can see and hear and touch, you know.
Hmm.
The Vishnu Purana is encouraging us to expand our awareness, to reach for those higher realms.
So it's not just about understanding it intellectually. It's about like an inner journey.
Exactly. It's about aligning yourself with Dharma, living ethically, and cultivating wisdom. These are the practices that help us move through these different levels of reality and ultimately reach liberation from suffering.
This all ties back to Vishnu as the preserver, right? It's not just about maintaining the physical universe, but also about guiding souls on their spiritual journeys.
Yes, Vishnu is seen as this ultimate source of grace and compassion, the force that helps us overcome obstacles and realize our true nature.
It's really amazing how the Vishnu Purana blends cosmology, philosophy, and spiritual practice. It's like this super intricate tapestry of meaning.
That's the power of these ancient texts. They offer a really complete vision of reality. They address those big questions about life, death, and everything in between.
Gotta admit, it's a lot to take in.
It is.
There's so much depth to it all.
It can feel overwhelming at times, but remember, we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah, that's true.
The more you explore, the more you discover, you know.
So what other insights does the lecture give us about this cosmic worldview?
Well, one interesting detail is how Vishnu Purana talks about time.
Okay.
We already touched on the cyclical nature of creation and destruction, but it also describes this mind-boggling system of cosmic timekeeping.
Okay, lay it on me. I'm ready to be mind-boggled.
Remember Brahma, the creator god?
Yeah.
Well, a single day for Brahma, it's called a kalpa,
Kalpa.
lasts for 4.32 billion years.
4.32 billion years. Okay, so a single day and night for Brahma is longer than the entire estimated age of Earth.
It is, and that's just one unit in this massive cosmic calendar. You've got even larger time cycles that include multiple kalpas. The Vishnu Purana really wants us to expand our understanding of time.
It definitely puts a human lifespan into perspective.
It does. It encourages us to connect with those vast cosmic rhythms, you know, the cycles that are way beyond our normal perception of time.
So it's not just about understanding the big picture of the universe, it's also about how that cosmic time relates to our individual lives.
Exactly. The Vishnu Purana suggests that our lives are actually interwoven with these massive cycles of creation and destruction. It's a call to live in harmony with those rhythms and fulfill our purpose within the larger cosmic order.
You know, it makes me think of that ancient Greek concept of kairos.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the opportune moment, like there's a right time for everything within the grand scheme of things.
That's a great connection. The Vishnu Purana also emphasizes aligning your actions with the right time and place. It's about recognizing your role in this cosmic dance, acting accordingly.
My brain is definitely being stretched today, trying to wrap my head around all this.
It's a lot, I know.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about these ancient texts, though, right? They challenge our assumptions and offer us a peek into a worldview that's both ancient and timeless.
I love this deep dive. I do, but I think we could both use a minute just to, process everything.
Take a deep breath, let it all sink in.
Okay. Deep breaths, everybody. Deep breaths. All right, ready for more. So what else does the lecture cover?
Well, one important aspect we haven't touched on yet is the emphasis on devotion.
Okay.
The Vishnu Purana, as you might guess from the name, is all about worshiping Vishnu.
Makes sense.
It highlights the importance of bhakti, which means devotion,
Yeah.
as a path to liberation.
So it's not just about understanding the universe or even living ethically. It's also about having this really deep connection with the divine.
Exactly. Bhakti is seen as this powerful force that can purify your heart, dissolve your ego, and lead to union with Vishnu.
It's like a love story between the soul and the divine.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And the Vishnu Purana is full of stories and hymns that express this love, this devotion. It encourages us to cultivate that same love and surrender to Vishnu's grace.
So it's about living these teachings, not just studying them.
Precisely. It's about living with awareness, compassion, and devotion.
This makes me wonder, if the Vishnu Purana encourages this personal connection with Vishnu, does it also tell us, how to do that, how to cultivate devotion?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked because the lecture does touch on that.
Oh, tell me more.
So, it mentions 9 forms of bhakti, 9 devotional practices. And these include things like listening to stories about Vishnu, chanting his names, remembering his qualities, serving his devotees.
Okay, so it's like a toolkit for building a relationship with the divine.
Exactly. And what's beautiful is that these practices can be adapted to fit your own needs and your own preferences.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure guide to spiritual growth.
I like that.
I know, right?
It highlights the accessibility and the flexibility of Bhakti Yoga.
This is so inspiring. It really makes me want to try out these practices and experience that connection for myself.
That's the power of the Vishnu Purana. It's not just an ancient text, it's a living tradition. It still offers guidance and inspiration for people today.
I'm really glad we get to explore it together.
Me too.
This deep dive has been incredible.
I agree. And we're not even done yet.
Whoa.
There's still more to uncover. But before we move on, let's just pause for a second. What's resonating with you most from what we've talked about so far?
That's a good question. I'm really struck by the emphasis on like the vastness of the universe, but also the importance of our own choices. It's like we're part of this massive thing, this huge, incredible thing, but we still matter. We still have agency.
That's a powerful insight. And it leads us to another key theme. We need to talk about Dharma.
Ah, Dharma.
Right, we mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
But I think we're ready to go deeper now.
I'm ready.
All right, so remind me, what exactly is Dharma again?
Well, it's often translated as duty or righteousness, sometimes even cosmic order.
Right. But it's a much bigger concept than that, really. It includes ethics, morality, and living in tune with your true nature.
So it's not just about following rules.
Right.
It's about like living in a way that's both fulfilling to you personally, but also contributes to the good of everything.
You got it. It's about finding your place in that cosmic web and fulfilling your unique purpose.
This makes me think about all the different roles we play in life, like parent, child, friend, citizen, employee.
Right, and each role has its own responsibilities, right?
Yeah,
Its own
right.
expectations.
Exact.
The Vishnu Purana really stresses that every action we take, even the small ones, has an impact. It affects the entire web of existence.
So like a ripple effect.
Precisely. Our actions create these ripples that spread out and affect the whole. And that interconnectedness is a huge part of Dharma.
So it's about recognizing that we're not these isolated beings. We're part of this network, this system of relationships.
That's it. It reminds me of the concept of Indra's net from Buddhist philosophy.
Indra's net.
Yeah. It's this metaphor for how everything is interconnected. Each part reflects and influences all the other parts.
A beautiful image, and it really captures the essence of Dharma, seeing the interconnectedness of everything and acting accordingly. So how does the Vishnu Purana guide us in actually living out our Dharma? Does it like give us specific instructions?
It does. It offers these ethical guidelines. They're known as the yamas and niyamas. And these are principles for right conduct, for aligning your actions with Dharma.
Okay. What are some examples?
So the yamas include things like nonviolence, truthfulness, not stealing, celibacy, and non-attachment. And the niyamas include things like purity, contentment, austerity, self-study, and surrender to the divine.
Wow. These are like powerful principles, and they deal with both our inner world and our actions.
Exactly. Dharma is about aligning your thoughts, words, and deeds with your true nature and with that cosmic order.
This is all very inspiring, but also kind of daunting. It feels like a lot to live up to.
It can be, but remember, Dharma is a journey, not a destination.
So it's about progress, not perfection.
Precisely. The Vishnu Purana is encouraging us to aim for ethical living and spiritual growth, but it also acknowledges that we're all still learning.
This makes me think about karma again. If our actions have consequences, it's even more important to try to act in alignment with Dharma.
You got it. The text highlights how ethical living leads to positive karma, and that can bring more happiness, more fulfillment, and eventually liberation.
So it's not just about avoiding bad consequences, it's about creating good ones.
Exactly. It's about making the whole universe a better place.
It's amazing how interconnected all this is. Cosmology, philosophy, ethics, spiritual practice, it's all woven together in the Vishnu Purana.
That's what makes these ancient texts so compelling. They give us a holistic vision of reality. And not only that, they provide us with guidance for living a meaningful life.
I feel really inspired and grateful for this deep dive.
Yes,
And to think, we're not even done yet.
There's still more to explore.
Yeah.
But for now, let's just take a moment to reflect. What's sticking with you? What are you thinking about?
I'm really struck by the emphasis on both the vastness of the universe, but also the importance of our individual choices. It's like we're part of something much bigger than ourselves, but we still have agency and responsibility within that.
That's a really profound insight. And it leads us to another key theme. We need to address the concept of Dharma.
Ah, Dharma. Right, we touched on it earlier, but I'm definitely ready to go deeper now.
Me too. It's such a core concept in the Vishnu Purana and in Hinduism as a whole.
So remind me, what exactly is Dharma, like in a nutshell?
Well, it's often translated as duty, righteousness, or cosmic order, but it's really this multifaceted concept that encompasses ethics, morality, and living in alignment with your true nature.
So it's not just about like following rules then.
No, it's much more than that.
It's about living in a way that's both personally fulfilling, but also like contributes to the harmony of everything.
Exactly. It's about finding your unique place in that cosmic web and fulfilling your purpose.
Okay. That makes me think about all the different roles we play in life, as parents, children, friends, citizens, you name it. Each role has its own responsibilities and expectations.
That's a great point. And the Vishnu Purana really emphasizes how every action we take, no matter how big or small, impacts that web of existence. You know what I mean?
So it's like that ripple effect thing, right?
Exactly. Our actions, they create these ripples that go out and affect the whole. And this interconnectedness, that's a key aspect of Dharma.
It's about recognizing that we're not isolated individuals, but part of this vast, intricate network of relationships.
Exactly. It reminds me of the concept of Indra's net from Buddhist philosophy.
Indra's net.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
No, I don't think so.
It's this metaphor for the interconnectedness of all things,
Okay.
where every part reflects and influences every other part.
That's a really beautiful image, and it really captures what Dharma is all about, seeing how everything's connected and acting accordingly. So how does the Vishnu Purana actually guide us in actually living out our Dharma? Does it like give us specific things to do, specific ways to be?
It does. It lays out these ethical guidelines called the yamas and the niyamas.
The yamas and the niyamas, okay.
And these are like principles for right conduct that help align our actions with Dharma.
Okay, so what are some examples of those?
Well, the yamas include things like nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, celibacy, and non-attachment. And the niyamas include things like purity, contentment, austerity, self-study, and surrender to the divine.
Wow, those are really powerful principles, and they address like our inner world and our outward actions, both.
Okay. Dharma is about aligning our thoughts, words, and actions with, our true nature and with that cosmic order.
This is so inspiring, but also kind of intimidating. It feels like a lot to live up to.
It can be, absolutely. But remember, the path of Dharma, it's a journey, not a destination.
So it's about progress, not perfection.
Precisely. The Vishnu Purana encourages us to strive for ethical living and spiritual growth, but it also recognizes that we're all works in progress.
This makes me think about karma again. If our actions really do have consequences, it's even more important to try to act in line with Dharma, isn't it?
Absolutely. The text emphasizes how ethical living creates positive karma, which can lead to more happiness and fulfillment, and ultimately liberation.
So it's not just about, like, avoiding the negative consequences. It's also about creating positive ripples in the world, right?
That's a great way to put it. It's about contributing to the harmony and well-being of everything.
It's amazing how interconnected all of this is, Cosmology, philosophy, ethics, spiritual practice, it's all woven together in the Vishnu Purana.
That's what makes these ancient texts so compelling. They offer this holistic vision of reality. And they don't just address the big questions, they also give us guidance for living a meaningful life.
I feel really inspired and grateful for this deep dive.
Me too. And believe it or not, we're not done yet.
There's still more to come.
There is. But before we continue, let's just pause and reflect for a moment.
Okay.
What resonates with you the most from what we've talked about so far? What are you taking away from all of this?
I think what really stands out to me is the emphasis on the vastness of the universe, but also the importance of our own individual choices. It's like we're part of this massive, incredible thing, but we still matter. We still have agency.
That's a profound insight. And it leads us to another key theme we need to discuss.
Okay.
The concept of Dharma.
Ah, Dharma. Right. We've touched on it a bit already.
We have, but I think we're ready to dive deeper now.
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Okay. So remind me again, what exactly is Dharma?
Well, it's often translated as duty, righteousness, or sometimes even cosmic order. But it's really this, multifaceted concept that encompasses ethics, morality, and living in alignment with your true nature.
Exactly. It's much more than just a simple definition.
Right.
It's a whole way of being.
So it's not just about following rules then.
Not just rules, no.
It's about, like, living in a way that's that's both fulfilling to you personally, but also contributes to the good of everything.
Right. That's it. You got it.
Yeah.
It's about finding your unique place in this grand cosmic web and fulfilling your own special purpose.
This makes me think about all the different roles we play in life, as parents, children, friends, citizens, employees, you name it. Each role has its own set of responsibilities and expectations, right?
Absolutely. And the Vishnu Purana really emphasizes how every single action we take, no matter how small it may seem, has an impact on that whole web of existence.
So it's like that ripple effect idea.
Exactly, exactly. Our actions, they create these ripples that spread out and affect everything. And that interconnectedness, that's really a key aspect of Dharma.
It's about recognizing that we're not these like isolated individuals, but we're all part of this vast network of relationships.
That's the heart of it.
Okay. So how does the Vishnu Purana guide us in actually living out our Dharma? Does it like give us specific things to do, ways to be?
It does, it does. It offers these ethical guidelines that are known as the yamas and yamas.
Yamas and yamas. Okay, tell me more about those.
So these are like principles for right conduct
Okay.
that help us align our actions with Dharma.
Okay, so what are some examples of those?
Well, the yamas include things like nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, celibacy, and non-attachment. And then the niyamas include things like purity, contentment, austerity, self-study, and surrender to the divine.
Wow, those are some powerful principles. And it's interesting, they address both our inner world and our outward actions.
Exactly. Dharma is about aligning our thoughts, words, and deeds with our true nature, and with that cosmic order.
This is also inspiring, but also a bit daunting, if I'm being honest. It feels like a lot to live up to.
It can be. It can be. But it's important to remember that the path of Dharma, it's a journey, not a destination.
So it's about progress, not perfection.
Precisely.
Mm.
The Vishnu Purana encourages us to strive for ethical living and spiritual growth. But it also acknowledges that we're all works in progress. We're all constantly learning and growing.
This makes me think about karma again. If our actions really do have consequences, then it's even more important to try to act in alignment with Dharma, right?
Absolutely. The text really emphasizes that ethical living creates this positive karma,
Okay.
which can lead to greater happiness, fulfillment, and eventually liberation.
So it's not just about avoiding negative consequences.
Right.
It's also about creating those positive ripples in the world.
Exactly. It's about contributing to the harmony and the well-being of everything.
Yeah.
Like making the universe a better place.
This is incredible. It's amazing how interconnected all this is, Cosmology, philosophy, ethics, spiritual practice. It's all woven together in the Vishnu Purana.
That's what makes these ancient texts so compelling. They offer this holistic vision of reality, right? They address the big questions, and they also provide guidance for living a meaningful life.
I'm feeling really inspired and grateful for this deep dive.
Me too, me too. And believe it or not, we're not done yet. There's still more to uncover.
Wait, seriously, there's more.
There is. But before we continue, let's just take a moment to kind of, pause and reflect. What resonates with you the most from everything we've talked about so far? What are you taking away from all this?
That's a great question. I think what really stands out to me is the emphasis on both the vastness of the universe,
Yeah.
but also the importance of our own individual choices.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, we're part of this massive, incredible thing, but we still matter. We still have agency within that.
That's a beautiful insight.
Yeah.
And it leads us to another key theme we need to address,
Okay, I'm ready.
the concept of Dharma.
Ah, Dharma. Right, we've touched on it a little bit.
We have, but I think we're ready to go a little deeper now.
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
All right. So remind me again, what exactly is Dharma? Like in a nutshell.
Well, it's often translated as duty, righteousness, or sometimes even cosmic order. But it's really this multifaceted concept that encompasses ethics, morality, and living in alignment with your true nature.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's more than just a simple definition.
It is.
It's like a whole way of being.
Exactly. And what I find so fascinating is that the Vishnu Purana doesn't just leave it at this abstract concept. It actually provides more specific guidance.
Oh, really? Does the lecture get into that?
It does.
Okay, I'm all ears.
It emphasizes that fulfilling your Dharma isn't about finding this one grand preordained destiny or anything like that.
Okay.
It's more about making choices that are aligned with your values, your skills, and the needs of the world around you.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm following.
So it's about recognizing, your unique gifts and finding ways to use those gifts in service to something larger than yourself.
So it's less about finding that one right path.
Right.
And more about, paying attention to those inner nudges, the
Nice.
things that light us up, that feel meaningful.
Exactly. Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with what feels, authentic and purposeful to you.
Okay, I like that.
And what's interesting is that the Vishnu Purana recognizes that this path isn't always easy. It often involves facing challenges, making sacrifices, and staying true to your values even when things get tough.
So resilience and courage are kind of part of the equation too.
Absolutely. You need that strength
Okay.
to stay the course. And the text reminds us that we don't have to do it alone.
Oh, that's good.
Remember, Vishnu is the preserver.
Mhm.
He's the source of grace and support.
Right.
And by cultivating that devotion to Vishnu, we can draw on that divine strength and guidance.
That's really reassuring. It's like having a cosmic cheerleader on our side, cheering us on through the ups and downs.
I love that image.
Right?
And here's another point the lecture makes that I find really encouraging.
Okay.
Fulfilling your Dharma isn't just about some future reward or achieving liberation someday. It's about finding joy and fulfillment right now in this present moment.
So it's not about grinding through life to get to some far off goal. It's about finding meaning in the here and now.
Exactly. It's about making each day matter. And by aligning ourselves with Dharma, we can tap into that deeper sense of purpose and satisfaction.
I really appreciate how the Vishnu Purana isn't just about escaping this cycle of rebirth, It's about finding meaning within that cycle, making each life we live count.
That's a key takeaway for sure. It's not about rejecting the world. It's about engaging with it
Right.
in this really conscious and compassionate way.
This deep dive has been such a journey. We've explored, gosh, what haven't we explored? We started with the creation of the universe, and now we're talking about the meaning of life.
And we've only just scratched the surface, truly.
I know, it's incredible.
The Vishnu Purana is this incredibly vast and intricate text. It's full of wisdom and insights, but hopefully this deep dive has given you a taste of its richness, and how relevant it still is today.
It definitely has for me. I'm
Yeah.
feeling inspired, humbled, and if I'm being honest, a little bit overwhelmed.
That's understandable.
In a good way, of course.
I get it. It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of these ancient texts, though. They challenge us to expand, to grow, to see things differently.
Exactly. And that's what the deep dive is all about, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the Vishnu Purana. And wow, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? Cosmic cycles, multiple worlds, Dharma, the power of bhakti. It's been intense. But I gotta say, all this talk about vast timelines and cosmic responsibility, it really makes me think about my own little life here on Earth, It's hard not to feel kind of insignificant when you put it all in perspective.
I can understand that. The Vishnu Purana definitely paints a grand picture, and it can make our day-to-day worries seem pretty small.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's meant to make us feel insignificant.
So it's not about shrinking ourselves or dismissing our own experiences.
Not at all. If anything, I think it's meant to empower us. It's reminding us that even though our individual lives are, finite, we're part of something infinite and eternal.
I like that. It's like zooming out to see the whole tapestry, but then zooming back in to appreciate each individual thread. Each one's essential to the overall design.
Exactly. Each thread, each individual life contributes to the beauty and complexity of the whole tapestry.
So how do we, make sure our thread is a good one? How do we live a life that's actually in harmony with this grand cosmic order? I'm sensing this is where the idea of purpose comes in.
You're right on track. The Vishnu Purana isn't just about understanding the universe. It's about finding your place in it and fulfilling your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's a call to action.
Okay, but how do we actually do that? In real life, it's easy to get so caught up in the day-to-day that you kind of lose sight of the bigger picture.
That's where those teachings on Dharma become really practical. Remember, Dharma is about living in alignment with your true nature, contributing to the well-being of everything. But the Vishnu Purana doesn't stop there. It actually offered some more specific guidance.
Oh, really? Does the lecture get into that? Tell me.
It does. The lecture highlights how fulfilling your Dharma isn't about finding this one grand predetermined destiny. It's more about making choices that align with your values, your skills, the needs of the world around you. It's about recognizing your unique gifts and then finding ways to use those gifts in service to, something larger than yourself.
So it's less about like, finding the one right path and more about just paying attention to those inner nudges, those things that light us up, the things that feel meaningful.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with what feels authentic and purposeful for you. And what's really interesting is that the Vishnu Purana recognizes that this path isn't always easy. It often involves facing challenges, making sacrifices, and staying committed to your values even when things are tough.
So resilience and courage are part of the equation too.
Absolutely. You need that inner strength to stay the course. And the text reminds us that we don't have to do it alone. Remember, Vishnu is the preserver. He's that source of grace and support. So by cultivating that devotion to Vishnu, we can tap into that divine strength and guidance.
That's good to know. It's like having a cosmic cheerleader on our side, cheering us on through those rough patches.
And here's something else the lecture mentions that I find really encouraging. Fulfilling your dharma isn't just about some far-off reward, like achieving liberation someday. It's about finding joy and fulfillment in the present moment, right here and now.
So it's not about grinding through life just to reach some distant goal. It's about finding meaning in this moment, in this life.
Exactly. By aligning with Dharma, we can tap into this deeper sense of purpose and satisfaction.
I really love how the Vishnu Purana isn't just about escaping the cycle of rebirth. It's about finding meaning within it, like making each life we live count.
That's a key takeaway. It's not about transcending the world. It's about engaging with it in a way that's conscious and compassionate.
This deep dive has been such a journey. We've explored so much from the creation of the universe to the meaning of life.
And we've really only scratched the surface. The Vishnu Purana is this incredibly vast and intricate text, and it's full of wisdom and insights. But hopefully, this deep dive has given you at least a little taste of its richness.
It definitely has. I'm feeling inspired, I'm feeling humbled, and to be completely honest, a little overwhelmed. But in a good way, of course.
It can be a lot to take in, I know.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of these ancient texts, right? They challenge us, they push us to grow, to see the world in a new light.
And to live our lives with more purpose and meaning. And that, my friend, is what the deep dive is all about. So thank you for joining us on this journey through the Vishnu Purana. And until next time, keep exploring.